Let's go to the North Lawn of the White House. Kellyanne Conway, Counselor to the President of the United States, joins us live. A beautiful day down there. Kellyanne, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We understand the President met with some senators yesterday and talked a little bit about this funding bill coming up. And once again, it doesn't sound like he's going to get the money for the wall. And there's a possibility, people are saying, well, in that case, he said he was going to wait till after the midterms. Midterms have happened. Will there be a government shutdown?
The president is keeping all options open. He's made that clear. The one thing he's made clear for 3.5 years now, and it helped him to win the presidency indeed, is that we are a sovereign nation in need of physical borders. And I don't know if there's anything that he's been more explicit and consistent on in the last 3.5 years. Congress needs to act. Congress needs to act on the wall funding, but Congress also needs to act on immigration. We now have a couple of judges in this country responsible for the immigration law for all of us. And Congress has failed to act. Republican and Democratic Congresses, frankly, have failed to meet the president's very modest demands on ending the visa lottery system, ending chain migration. He was willing to do a deal on DACA, the Dreamers, as you know. And, of course, I think one of the centerpieces, the wall funding. We see day in and day out that people are pouring over the borders poison. The drugs that are coming through our southern border is unbelievable. The fentanyl, the heroin, the cocaine. In addition to people coming not through one of the 26 legal ports of entry, or not as one of the 33 million who have immigrated here legally over the years. The president has made clear he wants people to come here legally. There's a process in place. Do it. There are 26 ports of entry. Enter them. The DHS processed a record 38,000 claims of fear last year, claims of credible fear last year. I mean, we're doing all we can. The brave men and women at the border, we're doing all we can. You had General Mattis and Secretary Nielsen there just this week. You see some enhancements going on at the border. $1.6 billion is a modest down payment for the security of this nation.
All right, let's talk about what happened yesterday in the Senate. I know that Mitch McConnell's the ultimate deal maker. Him and the president seem to be on somewhat of a roll. I'm wondering, what can you do in the lame duck session? What can you tell us could be in the works? We know about the president's goal of building the wall and also the middle-class tax cut. Either one of these things on the table?
It's all on the table. But the fact is, the president also is looking at getting more of those judicial and executive nominations completed. He's had a record run on in the district courts, the U.S. Circuit Courts, and, of course, to the United States Supreme Court. And that should go on with some dispatch, with some alacrity. In addition, there are executive nominations that will be going through. The president is also talking about immigration in the lame duck. Clearly, keeping this economy humming is always going to be a priority of his. And the voters responded in kind. Speaking of judicial nominations, if you look at, and we'll include Bill Nelson here since he lost the Senate race in Florida, you've got the 4 Democratic senators who voted against Kavanaugh who were up this time. All 4 of them lost. Nelson and McCaskill and Heidkamp and Donnelly. And the one who voted for him, Manchin, actually prevailed. So this is a continuing issue. America is watching. They don't like these judges who make it up as they go along, who legislate from the bench and who are beholden to poll numbers or political calculations. They want to continue the role that the president has on the economy and the judicial nominations, and the lame duck is a good place for that to continue.
All right, so the middle-class tax cuts, you say it's all on the table now because the president
Well, it's all on the table,
that.
and the president, that's right, but he is very focused on continuing to give relief to people who work hard, and look at the success of the first tax cut for the middle class, doubling the child care tax deduction,
just
eliminating...
whether it's going to move forward, Kellyanne.
But that's up to Congress, too. I mean, look, everybody, I know that Donald Trump is the sun, the moon, and the stars for a lot of folks in this town. Congress needs to act. They can't just rely upon him. What's next? Well, he's made very clear what he will sign. There are many things that this president would sign into law that have not reached his desk. So hopefully they can reach his desk in lame duck or in the next Congress. And we hear the Democrats make joyful noises about cooperation, not confrontation, about working with the president. He's ready for that. They're just having a devil of a time conceding elections they lost 10 days ago, one, and 2, electing their leadership.
All right, Kellyanne, regarding the Robert Mueller investigation, word is that the president and his lawyers have been formulating some answers to some of the questions. Rudy had a soundbite yesterday, or a quote yesterday, about how some of the questions are problematic, that essentially they're a trap. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you that this president and everyone around him has been nothing but 100% compliant for a year and a half now. Millions and millions of dollars later, months and months later, 1.4 million pieces of paper, 33 plus people having met with or complied with requests from the Mueller team, including the President of the United States. I'm not privy to the specific questions. We are walled off from that here at the White House, and rightfully so. But the President has said there's no Russia collusion. And he's also said that he's complying, and he is with his attorney. So I can't comment further about the legal specifics, except it's very important to note that the people who promised they were going to frog march Donald Trump out of the White House because of Russia collusion 2 years ago are now belly aching about something else, all the while he's compliant. And all the while, let's go back to the media poll that was released last week. 2 data points. 42% say they approve of the way Mueller's handling the investigation. 46% disapprove. That's underwater. Separate data point. 41% of Americans polled, according to media polls, 41% only say that the investigation is justified, and 54% say the Mueller investigation is politically motivated. That public opinion and public appetite has really shifted.
You know, you can really tell that she used to be a professional pollster. She's got those numbers right there. Kellyanne, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Kellyanne.
Have a great day.
You too.